I think you're handsome.
I am?
Yes.
I thought so.
Just hanging out with my buddy.
Yeah. It's the only friend you have.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I cherish that friendship.
Hey, are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, well, we're back.
Oh, hey, we're back.
We're back!
So you got the chat room up? Just
I do.
confirm everybody.
Well, we're like 2 minutes early.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the clock. Look at us. Mr. and Mrs. Punctuality over here.
Early. Well, we weren't so punctual last week.
Yeah, last week, thanks for your understanding.
Yeah.
Everybody was very supportive. It was just a rough family week, a lot of sickness, and everyone is
and
better.
And an ER visit, and yeah. Oh.
It was a bad week, but you guys were really understanding about it, and we appreciate that. And everybody's like, hey, family first, which we wholeheartedly agree with.
Definitely.
And it was good. It was good to take the time off.
Don't have a crap attack.
I'm trying not to, Nicole. Hey, what's with the sunglasses? You going somewhere?
Oh, I was.
Do you know? No one can see this, but her sunglasses have my name on them.
Yeah, they say Marc.
She just.
I think it's Marc Jacobs.
No. She just likes me that much. So good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We're back.
Yay!
I'm wearing my 10th anniversary Wood Whisperer shirt. Do we still have these in stock?
We have a couple of them,
Okay.
in like odd sizes.
Odd sizes, okay.
Over
Yeah,
at
these.
TWW
We're in
store.
our 10th anniversary year, so you're supposed to kind of celebrate that the whole year. So we do have some stuff in the store if you're interested in
And
that.
some challenge coins.
Sporting it, yo.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Overwatch shirt. I don't play anymore.
Oh, I know.
I do like the shirt though.
You played it once.
No, I played it a few times.
Keep everybody busy. I have to find our Patreon people.
Oh yes. Well,
Too late, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to thank some folks who helped us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/woodwhisperer. Good job, by the way.
I know, thanks.
These are the folks who helped us out, the new folks who signed up. Mark Ritchie, Eric Cassidy, Mike Makazek, Craig and Kara Walters, John.
Wait. Hi, Craig. I talked with your wife, so Kara.
Hi, Craig.
They're from New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I told them that if we ever make it to New Zealand, we're gonna hang out with them.
Let's get right on that, hon. John, Lancer McCullen, Rob Wiskow, Pete Servasio, Doug, Ron Carlson, Kevin Bell. Wow, a lot of names this week.
Well, we missed a week.
2 weeks, yeah. Neil McCarthy, Philip Erickson, Peter Middleton, Alicia Bramlett, and Alex Leffelman.
Wait. Let me say.
So thank you so much, everybody, for helping us out.
Thank you.
We always appreciate the support.
Amazing.
So it's at patreon.com/woodwhisperer, woodwhisperer. And we will mention that we do have a new goal set for the PM edition of Friday Live.
Mm-hmm.
So if we hit that goal, we will do one show a month where we actually go live in the evening after one of the kids is asleep. The other kid will be playing video games and watching TV, and we'll be out here
make his night.
making fools out of ourselves.
Adam wants to know, what games do we play? I'm playing Fallout 4 right now, still playing that. But I do have a couple of games in the wing, like the Guardian game that your mom bought me.
Right. I went through the latest Uncharted, then I went through Horizon, and now I'm playing the new Zelda game.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We got a couple of thank yous. I want to thank Christopher Allen. Hopefully this won't get you in trouble, buddy. But he sent me some of these great drywall toggle bolts. And this came up on Wood Talk. I think Shannon was hanging lights, and he had discovered these, and Chris hooked me up with a box of them. And they come in handy if you're hanging things from the ceiling, even stuff in the walls. And this is a improved version of the classic toggle bolt that's kind of a pain in the butt to install. So thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate that.
And I will say that I am checking the YouTube chat. I can only check one chat.
Well, actually, you go to thewoodwhisperer.com/live. You'll see the embedded video, and you'll see the chat room there.
Yeah.
And it is basically an embedded version of the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
So that's where you can
But if you're watching
get Nicole.
if you're watching this on Facebook, you can still ask questions because he goes back.
I'll go back and
on
answer them later.
And answer them. So as questions come in through the YouTube chat, I kind of put them to the side, and that's how we kind of deal with this.
Right. And Garrett, we have to thank Garrett.
Garrett. Oh yeah. So Garrett Brickson emailed me, and he is doing a charity ride, a motorcycle ride for charity, and he has like this crazy around the United States, and it's called The Longest Ride, and it's in memory of his mother.
10,000 miles solo motorcycle ride.
So I didn't tell you, but I donated to, to his cause. So none of it goes to him. It all goes to the National Brain Tumor Society. So if you go to facebook.com/thelongestroad17, the number 17, you'll find everything about it. You'll find Garrett's route and all of that to the actual brain tumor organization too.
Wow.
So I just thought it was really awesome of him to honor his mom. He has a locket with his mom's hair in it. So
that's
I
amazing.
just thought it was, and we do Woodworkers Fighting Cancer in September and October. So this is,
Well, good luck with that, Garrett.
yes. Oh, and he is in the military, so he leaves Hawaii, where he's stationed. He's stationed in Hawaii.
Okay.
And he did offer to send you some Hawaiian wood.
I was going to say, is he going to start his motorcycle ride in Hawaii?
No.
That might end pretty quickly.
No.
Whoops.
That's just where he's stationed.
Okay, I gotcha.
So
Very good. Well, good luck with that,
good
Garrett.
luck with that, Garrett, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah. And what's the deal with the giveaway? New giveaway this month?
It's May, right? Yeah,
Yes.
it's May.
Welcome to May, Nicole.
Welcome to May. And we're working with Fuji Spray. Fuji Spray is sponsoring this month's giveaway. They just announced and rolled out a new compressor gun. And I was the big dummy, and I was like, I don't understand. It's just the gun?
Nicole's like, what are you going to give him a gun for if they're not going to give him the turbine? Like, that's stupid.
No, I didn't say that.
I was like, hon, I think it's actually like a conversion gun. It goes on a compressor. So they do,
Yeah.
Fuji's known for their turbine systems, which is a self-contained box that's the blower and then the HVLP gun that attaches to it. This is a compressor-driven gun with a regulator on it. So usually in the industry, you find those labeled as conversion guns.
Right.
And all you need is a good compressor. Now, I don't know the specs on the compressor. People were asking about that, but I'm not that familiar with the product
yet.
yet.
Just go to thewoodwhisperer.com/giveaway, and there's links to the product.
I'm sure they've got...
There's a video that they go through the whole thing.
Yeah, they have the air requirements
Yes.
there, I'm sure, to tell you what size compressor you need to run this thing, but it looks like a good product. Fuji just makes great stuff.
And it's especially if you don't want to invest like $800 into a whole system, this is $325.
And most of us have compressors. It's just, do we have a big enough compressor
Right.
to run air tools? All right, and lastly, I want to mention we have, that's, by the way, the woodwhisperer.com/giveaway. Yep. That's where you can go for that. I did a rant on the Offcuts channel recently, and some of you, I'm sure a lot of you already saw it. I might do those more often when something grinds my gears. I might.
Sneeze. Sorry.
You know what grinds my gears when you sneeze.
Yeah.
That'll be my next rant.
It grinds my gears when you eat cereal.
When you fart in bed. Okay. So someone complained about the farting talk, and
Yeah.
they're like,
Hey.
25 seconds in,
Oh, we should have.
and you already
we should have
farted.
Timed it. We should have done it.
And you know what I said? I said, I'm so sorry about that. We'll do better next time. We'll aim for 10 seconds.
We didn't do that. Though.
We didn't. It took us like a few minutes. Yeah. So I did this little rant on books, and you want to check it out. It's just kind of a pro-book perspective on a lot of folks thinking that all you need to survive in the woodworking world is YouTube, and that's just not the case. I mean, for some people it is, and I'm not going to go on the same rant again. Go there and watch it if you want to get into that. So, shall we get into questions, my friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of questions, right?
No, not as many as we usually do. It's fine, but more time for questions from the chat.
Yep.
Okay, so Yoso wrote in. He's becoming a regular.
Yes.
He says, when applying finish, how long do you wait between applying it to one side of a project and then flip it over to apply it to the other side? If you wait too little, you can mess up the finish on the first side, and if you wait too long, drips might be solidifying already, causing an eyesore. Okay, so here's my strategy, and this is, dry time is going to differ for every finish and your condition, so I can't tell you what those numbers are, but I can give you my workflow. So let's say we're doing a tabletop, right? I do one side. Absolute critical step to this that solves one of your problems, Yoso, is after you apply the finish, and you do want to let it sit and dry, right? We're talking about something that you have to let it dry because, again, you flip it too soon, you're just going to ruin that finish. So you're going to have to let it dry no matter what you do. You have to address the drips. Take a dry portion of your little rag or whatever you're doing the application with, even if it's a brush, take a paper towel or a rag and go around that underside. Now, I would assume you have this piece elevated. Don't put it flat on a work surface. Put it on some, scrap pieces of wood, raise it up a little bit. And this way you can go around on the underside and give it a good rub down. Make sure any drips or anything that seeped onto the other side are gone, or at least rubbed in so that they're a non-factor. That kills the drip problem. After that point, you have to wait quite a while before you could safely flip that thing over. Now, what I do is, again, using those wooden cauls, usually just little strips of ply or scrap material, I flip it over and I rest it on it. So now I actually only have a couple places that I could be doing damage to the finish if I am. But you want to wait until the thing is dry enough to the touch that it's not sticky. If it's sticky, it's going to stick to those pieces, right? So flip it over once it's dry to the touch and not tacky anymore, and you should be okay. Just keep in mind, you leave it there for a long time, that finish is still not fully cured, it could start to stick to those pieces. So you do have to be careful, and that's part of the challenge of it. So that's why a lot of people, I got them over there. Yeah, they'll use painter's pyramids. And here's the thing, you usually have a good face and a non-visual face, right? One that's not going to be seen. So I always finish the backside first so that I don't have to wait. Finish the backside or the bottom, then flip it over, put it on painter's pyramids, and even if those little pyramids put little dimples, you're never going to see them on the underside, right? So the final finish you address is your show face, and then that should help solve the problem. Okay, shall we move on? You want to read a question?
Sure, I'll read a question.
I'm getting tired of talking already.
This is from Ken Weinert. Did you have an issue setting up your business in your house? Here in Thornton, I tried to do the right thing for a home-based business license.
That's where you went wrong.
Yeah. And they say you have to be able to park 2 vehicles in your garage. Not easy to arrange when you're putting duct and power for a table saw located in the middle of the space. Just curious, are there any hoops you had to jump through? No, because we are on the outskirts of the city limits. I checked it out and we got lucky.
Yeah, we got lucky.
So
I think it's very regional.
It's very
dependent what city you're in, whether you're like in an incorporated or unincorporated area, and going through
that was one of the things that we made sure to tell our realtor too, that it was a requirement that we would be able to. And
our accountant, has helped us with the business. I'm wondering if the reason, I was thinking about the logic, why do they want 2 cars to go into the garage? Is it because if you have a home-based business, they're anticipating foot traffic, so your vehicles need to be in the garage to make room for customers in your driveway? Yeah. It's the only thing I could think for that.
Yeah.
But
I'd be curious if you told them what you were doing, like, oh, he's going to be working in the garage. Well, he needs me.
I think you should go to Toys R Us, get 2 Power Wheels, and then make sure you can park 2 of them in the garage, and you're golden. Here, read the next question. I'm going to go shut the door because I think those lawnmowers are loud.
So this is from Dean. I've progressed to better tools and blades. I'm using a Ridge Carbide table saw blade now, which are excellent for sharp.
Go ahead.
Do you know of a quick and easy way to determine when blades are dull and ready for sharpening? I hate to send them early and waste money.
Okay. Blade sharpening is one of those things that comes with experience. The longer you use a particular blade, the longer you have experience at a saw, the easier it is for you.
They're saying, oh, where did my mic go?
Did you turn it on?
I did turn it on. You didn't check it like I told you to.
Woman? Don't you backsass me.
I'll backsass you all I want.
No, you gave me dead batteries. Okay.
So we did the blades.
Yeah, so if you get enough experience under your belt, you'll be able to determine when that happens because you'll notice with the work you're pushing it through and you go, man, this cherry board is a lot harder to push through this blade than it was a month ago, right? So it's a matter of noticing that the blade is kind of fighting back. And if you can actually stress a blade a lot longer if you just are, you're just cheap and you don't want to sharpen the blade. We can do that. We kind of push it further than it should go, and that just makes it duller faster, So if you have signs that the blade is dull, then it's time to sharpen, right? But I think we all have our own tolerance level as to when that magic point in time is, like our own tolerance as to how much dullness we will accept in the results of the work and how much it fights back. But remember, the sharp blade is the safer blade. It's the dull blade that you really have to worry about. So err on the side of caution and sharpen sooner rather than later. Okay, Philip Erickson wrote in. He said, "Hi Mark, I'm making a slightly different version of your low-profile entertainment center." That's an old one. One of these changes is sliding doors. I decided to use glass instead of the wood panels. My question is, how would you finish the doors given the glass? Apply the finish with wipe-on poly before final glued assembly, or finish the assembly, carefully tape off the glass, and apply the finish to the completed sliding door. Okay, for glass panels, and we're talking about glass in some sort of a frame, I have a preference for finishing the materials first and adding the glass, and there's two reasons. One, I just think it's easier. The second thing is, typically with glass, you want to have the panels be removable, because if it breaks, you need to be able to fix it. So a lot of times you rabbet the frame, drop the glass in, and then just use little glass stops, little strips of wood that I tack in all the way around. And if I need to remove that glass in the future, I could pull those tacks out, pull the strips out, and replace that glass easily enough. And that also allows you to pre-finish the material. It facilitates that. So that's my personal preference. I think that's probably the best way to go. Taping off the glass sounds sucky. Paige Bonifaci. We always, he writes into
I like the name,
to Wood Talk, and we always debate whether it's like CCI or Bonifaci, but it's only one. So let us know, Paige. Let us know how to pronounce your last name. In regards to woodworking,
or don't, and just laugh when you listen to us.
Or let's focus on the fact that it's not really that important. I mean, to him it is, but to this moment, it's not. In regards to woodworking classes, do you prefer project-based classes where you make specific items, or classes that focus on specific techniques? Do you recommend one over the other for aspiring woodworkers? I'm a big fan of the projects. And obviously, if you're learning and you're trying to focus on hand-cut dovetails, you might want to take a hand-cut dovetail class, right? But I think learning techniques in the context of projects is the most realistic, the most effective way, because you're learning and the stakes are high. If you're just practicing on these boards that don't matter, the stakes are low. When it's high stakes, you remember your errors, you focus a little bit better because you don't want to ruin the overall project for the sake of this one technique. And then when it's all said and done, you've actually got something like, I've seen like green and green details classes as a good example. Now, those are usually people who are a little further along in their woodworking, so they can spend 3 or 4 days doing a Darryl Peart class like that and just come home with this little sample thing and be like, oh, this is cool, I'm gonna put it in my shop. But I think newer woodworkers are probably a little bit more end result focused. So if they can get something that actually is a meaningful piece of furniture in the end, then they're gonna be happier. If you have to justify...
I also think it kind of feeds the motivation, like, oh, I built that. And
yeah, and if you have a spouse to justify things to, like why I was gone for 5 days, you come back with a beautiful piece of furniture that just needs some finish put on it, you might actually get more classes in the future, you know?
I want another one of those Blacker House chairs. You should go to a class
Oh,
again.
good Lord. That's a lot of work.
No.
That was a long class,
Go ahead,
too.
go.
All right, Nicole's sending me off to William Ing School. Here I go. All right, Andrew St. Pierre wrote in, hey, Mark and Nicole. Yes, I have been looking at buying new clamps. Let's see, right now I have some pipe clamps that are from a garage sale, and I got them dirt cheap. I need to replace the pipes. Are parallel clamps worth the money? Are they any better than pipe clamps? Thank you so much. I think they're worth the money. I think they're better, but not everyone feels the same way.
I remember you started off with pipe clamps.
Because pipe clamps are a great way to get a very long clamp for not a whole lot of money. And I think that's where they're really advantageous in the longer lengths. But let's see, I'll grab a pipe clamp and I'll grab a parallel clamp. So this is one of my jets. And this is, let's go with the Rocklers. So this is Rockler's pipe clamp. And you can see comparatively, you would set this down and you clamp your stuff between these pads, kind of like you would with your parallel clamp. But I think where you start to get into the advantages, obviously this is much more user-friendly. It's easier to slide the head. You've seen this in action before. Very easy to slide that head where you need it to be and tighten it up. This guy, well, it's a spring-loaded arm here that you push along the pipe. And this guy can rotate all different ways, which is, yeah, I guess that could be good. There might be some weird clamping situation that would be advantageous, but most of the time it's just, I'd rather it stay vertical and not twist around. And then you just gotta rotate this guy to tighten it down. I think the biggest disadvantage to a pipe clamp is the clamping surface. So you could modify these to make them a little bit taller, put some kind of a clamping head on there that gives you a little bit more real estate. But compared to a parallel clamp, there is no comparison. It's about twice as tall, which I think becomes incredibly useful. So that doesn't say that a pipe clamp isn't going to get the job done. Many people use pipe clamps, absolutely love them, and they do great. But I do think that the parallel clamp is an upgrade. And while I have some of the pipe clamps, I almost never touch them unless I'm like really in a weird glue up situation because the parallel clamps are doing everything I need them to do. Significantly more expensive though.
Yeah. Though I will say around the holidays you can.
There's almost always a 50%
sale.
off sale. And if it's not Jet, it'll be Bessie. But the Jets are better.
Everybody looks for the clamp
knows.
sale around Black Friday.
Yep. All right, we could take chat.
All right, so these were all of our Patreon questions. So now I'm going to dive into
Get up there, dingus.
the chat room questions that have been coming in.
Sorry, I'm yelling at my clamps.
So Brian Wallace wants to know solid or semi-solid stain for outdoor cedar furniture. Solid or semi-solid stain?
I'm actually, is that like decking stain terminology? Because I'm not familiar with that terminology. Are we talking about something that's like a dye pigment mixture?
I have no idea.
Being semi-solid?
I just grab the questions that come
and then
in.
the solid being a pigment mixture, so it's thicker. There's terminology in the decking world that I'm not that familiar with, and that sounds like what you're talking about. But the only reason I'd call a stain semi-solid is if I had a mixture of dyes and pigments in it. And then if it's just pigment, you would call it solid because it's almost like diluted paint. And if that's the case, I'm going to answer this. I don't know that I'm even answering it properly.
He might respond.
But if that is the case, it kind of depends on what you want. My guess is what they call the solid stain is going to obscure the grain a lot more because of those pigment particles. The semi-solid probably lets the grain show through a little bit more. And if that's the case, that's a personal preference. The solid will protect the wood more because it's blocking the UV rays more and better, but you don't see the wood grain as well. It gets obscured. So it's going to be a personal taste thing and then how much longevity you want.
Siding deck stain comes as transparent, semi-transparent, semi-solid, and solid.
Then that's got to be what they're talking about. Again, I don't know the lingo because it's not my industry, but...
Solid is like paint, they're saying.
Okay, so...
Provides more UV protection.
See, I know what I'm talking about. Even when it's not something I know anything about, I know what I'm talking about.
At the
Nicole.
sacrifice of no grain showing through.
Aren't you impressed?
Sure.
A little, just a little bit.
Just a little
Come
bit.
on. Are you impressed that
You're a critical thinker. You like to break things down.
Yes.
Yeah. David.
By the way, we should let Scott Hampshire know that I had a waffle this morning for breakfast. It was delicious. Go ahead.
Okay. David wants to know, as a fellow biotech scientist, I was wondering if or what you miss about the field. Do you find the way you work fulfills that need for you?
Yeah, I think what I got out of my field was a lot of training, was a lot of
critical thinking. I'm able to solve problems on the fly. And I think the most gratifying part of my job wasn't even so much the science, it was the interaction with people that I was training, and I enjoyed that process. And now I get that in spades with what I do. Yeah.
But I think if I miss anything about the science itself...
It's that sexy white coat, wasn't it?
Is my lab coat. I do miss my lab coat. Actually, I think I miss being part of the scientific community. That was a badge of pride that I wore, that I enjoyed being part of people who were doing some really important things. The problem was I didn't really get into that as much as I wanted to because of my, stopping at my bachelor's degree. So I was working for corporations who were busy making products for real scientists, and I say that in quotes, people who were doing actual experiments. So I wasn't getting as fulfilled as you might think because I wasn't working in R&D.
Because you have to go on and get your PhD in order to do
in most
some
cases,
of that.
to be able to get into like a real R&D lab, you've got to have a PhD to even set foot in there. So, so I was kind of stuck, and that's why I got into management, which brought out the education side that I like.
Let's see, Derek A. just did a super chat. Have you done a follow-up to your shellac under poly test?
Nope.
Hello from Jefferson City, Missouri. Well, hello.
Hello, Jefferson City.
That's the capital of Missouri.
Amen to that.
Yep. I've been to Jefferson City many, many times.
Oh, me too.
Grew up around that area, so that's
absolutely.
Really
there's this place that you go to eat. It's so good, right? Right off of that street. You know what I'm talking about. Did he ask a question?
I did.
Oh, that's all right. I did not do a follow-up to that test.
But what are those boards sitting on my desk?
Oh, that's a different test. That's a new test.
Like, I get these boards everywhere. There's boards everywhere around
I just
the house
put tongue oil on a bunch of Western red cedar boards for my desire to prove someone wrong. Is really what that comes from. And I'll tell you what, I am setting up like a 2-year thing. In 2 years, I will be able to prove someone wrong, and it is worth every second of the battle.
Someone told me one time that life is primarily a game, especially like husband and wife, a game of right and wrong. So if you find yourself in an argument, stop and think, am I just trying to prove somebody wrong? You might be able to get over it then.
That's my.
I do that too. When
that's
I'll
my
get
reason to live. Huh?
Sometimes when I get it, you're terrible, and I do like it when you're wrong.
You feel lucky it doesn't happen very often.
But when I get like an email and I'm writing back and I'm all mad, I'm like, wait, what am I mad about? What am I mad about? Like, I just need to take a chill pill.
You do.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna remind you of that once in a while. The shellac thing, we never really followed up on it because the test boards just got pushed aside. It was in Arizona when I did this test.
Oh, okay.
So no, I didn't really follow up with a long-term result for that.
Derek, I feel like you deserve a better answer.
What?
It gave you $5 for that answer. So ask another question.
I like Jeff City.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I already did David. Dennis, have you ever done a session or have an article for selecting hardwood veneer panels, types, quality, etc.? Dennis is from Vancouver, Canada.
No, not really. We did talk about this on a recent Wood Talk. Actually, I think our last Monday show, we started talking about hardwood plywoods and grades. So that might be something to listen to, but it's not quite as in-depth as you're talking about here, and it is audio. But go to woodtalkshow.com. We just posted the weekend show, so it's the show before that where we had that discussion. That might give you some insight. I'm not sure if it's 100% going to answer your questions, and I have not done like a complete rundown. That's something I haven't done.
You should add that to the list.
Yeah. Sorry. It doesn't sound that fun. You know what? Shannon can do it, and then I will link to it.
There you go. That's somebody emailed me asking as a new YouTuber, like, how to get started. I'm like, I don't even have...
Step 1, stop emailing other YouTubers to ask them how to get started.
Step 1, subscribe to Tim Schmoyer's channel. That's I always send them to Tim. Like, yeah. Tim has like hundreds of videos on like...
It's good tips.
So much YouTube-y stuff, and I just, honestly, we started in 2006. If we were to start without our past knowledge, I wouldn't even know. It would feel so overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, and there's a lot of other people out there doing what you want to do,
yeah.
So it's trickier these days.
I mean, I hope I helped him, but
probably not.
I'm probably not the best resource.
He just wanted you to link to his page, is what it was.
Make something. What's the #1 rule when moving your shop?
Hire someone else. Honestly, man, that's...
Dave, are you moving?
Yeah, are you moving? What's going on?
Yeah.
I haven't heard. Seriously, that is, in my opinion, the #1 thing. You don't want to have to move all the heavy stuff yourself. Hire a crew that's familiar with pianos and hot tubs. You know, they're used to moving some of this stuff, and if they do industrial machinery, even better.
Those crane thingies.
They got all kinds of crazy ways.
God.
Even still, what they can do with just a hand truck and 4 guys is pretty impressive. Get the pros, and box up all the stuff you really care about that you don't want damaged, hand tools and whatnot. Wrap them up to your own, standards, and then box those up and let them carry the boxes. But without a doubt, that was the #1 thing. Every time we've moved, the only reason my tools are still intact is because we hired someone else to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah. Andrew did a super chat. It says, making a redwood garden bench for his mother's funeral for everyone to sit on. What would be the best way to seal it? She loved gardening, I guess. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear about your mom, first of all. Very sorry.
Redwood holds up pretty well outdoors. You could just let it age naturally, but this goes into the whole outdoor finish thing, which keeps coming up. I think it's the time of year.
Yeah.
I just did a video on what I would consider like a bulletproof sort of film finish.
I meant to tell you last night because we had dinner on it. I kept looking at it. It's just a great...
There's really 2 paths you can take with these outdoor finishes. You can load them up with a film, which is what I did in that video on the table, or you can go with a lighter duty finish, and there's a whole range of lighter duty finishes. Things like teak oil, which is an oil varnish blend with some UV inhibitors. Things like that will need maintenance, and if it's a little bit of varnish in there, like the teak oil, maybe your maintenance is once a year or twice a year. If you have something like just a pure oil that you're putting on the surface, you may have to even apply it more to keep it protected and looking good. So it kind of depends on what your maintenance schedule is, what you want to do with it. If you do a film finish, the trick to that is if you're not there to apply a new coat maybe every year or two, I would probably say every 2 years if it's a nice thick coat. If you're not there to apply it and keep that top layer intact and keep it from cracking, what'll wind up happening is eventually the finish will fail. And if the finish fails completely, then you gotta strip the whole thing down and start over. So there's a little bit of a risk to the bulletproof finish, because it's anything but bulletproof.
Well.
I just like to call it that, because it makes people click the link.
How about waterproof?
Yeah, it's waterproofish.
David wanted us to say his last name. Argentino.
Argentinu. That's how I would say Argentinu. Did I get it right?
I probably. Robert McDonald wants to know, are there any autographed...
Ronald McDonald?
No, Robert McDonald.
Oh.
Are there any autographed hybrid woodworking books still available?
Every book you buy from us directly at TWW store, hey, look what I have right here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's Hybrid Woodworking. 196 pages of regurgitated knowledge from other woodworkers. Watch my video, my rant. You'll see what I mean. Every book you buy from us at twwstore.com is autographed by me.
If you want it personalized, though, like, Dear Robert.
Dear Robert, I think you're sexy.
Then you have to go through Patreon to do that, because our shipping center is now in Arizona, and then we're here, so we can't do.
But there have been times my mom has gotten requests, and she just makes sure when she comes out to visit I sign it, but you might have to wait.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait a while for that stuff. So
yeah.
So yeah, but Patreon, we do have a stack of books, and I ship them out then. The versus Arizona. We also have a question from. We already did that one. Wad Vogel Review. Hey Mark, what's your most practical uses for wooden hand screw clamps? I've only found one use in my shop.
Well, you can use them for clamping, like stuff, normal stuff.
Those things?
Yeah. I would say my most common use for these.
Here, I got a comment here. I just beep.
For nipple clamps. Nicole, you're disgusting.
I know.
You disgust me. If I need to hold a piece vertically, this is how I use them. You can clamp it to the bottom of a workpiece, and this is usually like casework, plywood. You can hold it to the very bottom, and if you tighten it up on there, you now have side-to-side support that will safely hold this piece vertically. That's my most common use. I use it for support. I also use it because it sits behind here and makes me look like a good old-fashioned woodworker. So
someone asked if there's a audio book. Well, I think he's joking. Does that come as an audio book on Audible?
No, we should do an audio book. I like Michael Gomez's comment. You should sign all books. Dear Robert, I think you're sexy. I like that. That's a good idea.
Chris, sorry I made you choke on your burrito.
Burrito.
Chris Robertson. Is there a project you would like to complete just to learn a new skill, tool, etc., but have not had the chance because of the producing content for the Guild and the Wood Whisperer? If not, is there a skill, tool you would like to learn in the near future?
You know, I've actually tackled most of what I consider my bucket list projects, being things that are just in the woodworking world. People idolize them. The Maloof chair, the Blacker House chair, things along those lines.
Usually chairs, right?
A lot of chair projects. But now I'm kind of at the point where there are certain techniques that I would love to just have a lot of extra time on my hands to perfect. Marquetry, decorative inlay, these are things that you could just go down that rabbit hole and never come back out. So I would like to find time to do that. The problem is, how much time can I spend on that while producing content that is supposed to be varied and interesting? Well,
it's usually, when it's something new too, it's a great opportunity for you to work with another woodworker. Because honestly, if you're looking to expand your skills and to learn, I think working with another woodworker is a good way to do that.
For sure.
So Scott.
Hey, Scott, Sonoran Woodshop.
Yeah, just did a super chat for us and bought us a cup of coffee.
Hey, thanks, man.
So Appreciate that. He's killing time before his flight to visit the Maloof Wood Workshop. What?
What? You turd. Why couldn't you do that when I lived there? We would have been able to go together. What a jerk.
Where's it at? The
Southern California.
Southern California?
Yeah. Hey, go to Sonoran Woodshop. It's a YouTube channel. Scott makes some really good turning content these days, so go check him out.
All
right, what else? Let's do one more question because we're out of time.
We're out
here.
of questions. Okay. Or I can just do quick questions. So
this by the way, where did we go to?
Michael's.
At Michael's, they had some of the coolest little drawing tools that I haven't been able to find anywhere else. When I'm sketching, sometimes like getting a right angle on a piece of paper drawn properly is, kind of tricky. And I don't like plastic because it's just hard to draw against. They have these thin, I guess it's aluminum.
Yeah.
But these thin aluminum squares, and they've got little circles on there too because that's cute. A little bit of a measuring tool, but for just drawing and drafting, this was awesome. And this, I could only find it at Michael's.
And Michael's always has coupons for like 50% off. So
never shop without the
never
coupon.
shop without the coupon.
Just like Bed Bath & Beyond, right?
Exactly.
And they also had this nice little angle finder, which again, for drawing purposes, is fantastic. Instead of using like a traditional protractor.
My coffee's cold.
Really, really good. So anyway, Michael's, if you're stuck there because someone forced you to go in there, go find the drafting, drawing section. You might find some cool stuff.
I was looking to see if the Easter stuff was on sale.
Whatevs.
Alex wants to know, what tool do you regret getting the most? I'm assuming. Do you have any tool regrets?
We talk about this on Wood Talk all the time. I don't know. Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times if there's a tool that I don't use, I sell it, get rid of it, and don't remember it.
Right.
But you know what I do like? I call this my little baby Cremona. I got this because I bought a new drill set, a Milwaukee drill set, and it came with this for free. Obviously, nothing's free, but it was a bonus in there.
It was a bonus.
It's a one-handed, battery-powered Sawzall reciprocating saw, and I put a blade in there called the Wrecker, and which was my nickname in college, by the way.
Sure it was.
And I use this to chop down like branches and stuff, but it makes me feel like a baby Cremona with this thing. It's pretty badass.
I was gonna say it looks pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Like, zoom, zoom.
Thank you. We're trying
something,
to court. We're trying to.
I would find in Dead Rising or something.
Maybe, yeah, good zombie fighting tool. Yeah. We're trying to court Milwaukee for sponsorship. So, if anyone knows anyone at Milwaukee, let them know. We're available.
We like Milwaukee.
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 Let's do one more.
All right.
Okay. Steve, I'm in the mood for more.
Steve G. Yeah, I have to get going here soon. I'm looking to make a table and still don't feel real comfortable on my mortise and tenons yet. Would multiple dowels be sufficient for the joints on the legs to the aprons?
If the dowels are big enough, if they're appropriately sized, you go to like 1/2 inch, 3/8 dowels and have a series of them. Not too close, but it depends on the size of the apron. Maybe get 2 or 3 on there. I think so. I think it'd be perfectly fine.
The table that you made, Matt and Lori, that was early in your career. What did you use for that one? Do you remember?
I have no idea. Biscuits? It might have even been biscuits.
I think it was biscuits.
So now biscuits on an apron is a super shallow joint, and I may have very well done biscuits.
But that table has held up, and they have 3 kids. And
we overestimate how much abuse, some furniture does get abused, but when we talk about weights and strength of joints, I think we totally overestimate and overbuild, which isn't a bad thing. But, in terms of a full depth dowel, 3/8, 1/2 inch, whatever it takes, you're going to be fine. That thing's going to hold.
I got a question from Daniel from England. He said, would you ever do another collab video with someone, and if so, who? I have an idea. No.
I hate people.
I have an idea.
Okay.
So we're online friends with the Food Lab guy.
Yes.
I think that would be an amazing collaboration video.
What could we do to collaborate with him?
Well, we did the pizza peel. I made the pizza, you made the peel.
Do we make another pizza peel?
No.
We'll make a cutting board? Like, what would we make for him?
We figure it out.
Well, when you figure it out, you let me know, and we'll do it. Because that guy's awesome.
He's awesome.
He's been testing pizzas, and I follow him on Instagram, and he's driving me nuts.
I know, he does a lot of
pizzas. Because he posts, I guess he's right now testing pizza makers.
Well, maybe you make a new design of the pizza peel and give it to him.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You got to follow the guy. He's really good.
Yeah, The Food Lab on Twitter.
We got his book.
He has a book. He takes a scientific approach to cooking and food, and that book is just like monster.
It's a Bible.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
so
really
The
good.
Food Lab is the book name.
The book name.
And I'm blanking on his first name.
Starts with a K.
Yeah, Kenji.
Kenji.
J.
Kenji.
Yeah, Kenji.
Yeah, good dude, seriously, and good book.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're going to close it off.
All right.
Let's pinch off this turd, shall we?
Pick your winner.
Oh, chicken dinner.
So every time we do this, all the questions that come in, whether through the chat, through Patreon, Mark picks his favorite, and we give him a free guild project.
I like Paige's question.
Paige's? There we go. Paige, I will contact you through Patreon since you're a patron. And yeah, we'll do it like that.
All right. Let's get going, Nicole.
It's Friday. It's Friday. Hey,
it's Friday. That means we're going to be busy next 2 days with the kids.
Yesterday, we donated blood.
We did.
Just because. You should do that more often.
Donating blood is good. Nicole found out well, you can talk about that.
Well, no, I found through a Quora article someone saying, if there are so many benefits to giving blood, why don't more people do it? So I went down a rabbit hole.
Because they stick you with a needle the size of a garden hose, and they shove it into your arm, and they pumping out your blood. That's why.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny because before having kids, I was pretty afraid of needles and all that, but I think that kind of cured me. I mean, I still was nervous when I was doing the blood donation, but it wasn't as...
Well, your pain threshold, your
yeah, it kind of
the
shifted.
Relativity, the scale has shifted for you. But yeah, seriously, giving blood, really not obviously a good thing to do.
Right.
But what we weren't aware of is some of the, again, I don't know how true all of it is. It does seem to be legitimate, but the health benefits to giving blood, definitely something to look into.
Yep.
For sure. So if you have the means, and they don't, there are restrictions, but if you can,
it's hard to be a donor. They ask you a lot of questions.
And yeah, it was like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes to give blood, 40 minutes to fill out the paperwork.
Right.
And don't wait for a crisis.
Yes.
Like a world crisis to suddenly go give blood. Give blood now and be able to help as many people as possible when it's needed on a regular basis.
Yep. We're going to be regular donors, so we can give again in June, I think it is, and I think we're looking into platelet donation too. That's a more intense thing. So I don't know how often I'll do that, but yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a
lot of work.
All right, so
that's our PSA for the day.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Have a great day.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Indeed.